Greetings! Quite the video we have here. What is God? Quite the question, huh? It really is the question. If God even exists. If not, what is reality? What is the universe? Well, it is all the same thing. So what is God? Where even to begin? What is not God? Nothing is not God. Nothing also is God. It's pretty paradoxical, but I will explain it in ways that you can partially understand. So, where to begin? Well, spoiler alert, I'm God! Ooh, I felt that. You just got offended, didn't you? Why did you just get so offended? Really dig down. Deeply. Why would you get so offended by that? Don't worry. Don't worry. You're God too. It's all good. The universe is actually perfect. You just can't see its perfection. That's the essence of God. Why would God create anything that isn't perfect if God is infinitely intelligent? So how can we begin to describe what God is? Well, first of all, whatever ideas you have about what God is, throw those in the trash. It's not God. Why isn't it God? Well, it simply can't be God. You see, God is infinite. By definition, really anyone would agree. God must be infinite, all-powerful, omnipotent. Well, if God is truly infinite, how could you know what God is with a finite mind? How could finite thoughts and concepts know what God is? Well, they can't. So you have this idea of God in your mind, and it is not God. This is where atheists fall into the trap. Atheists. Blasphemy! Blasphemy! Atheists deny a concept that doesn't even exist. See, atheists deny God, but they don't know what God is. They have this finite concept in their mind that they're denying. They're creating their own thing to deny. It's actual insanity. It's the same thing as saying, I don't believe in a flying spaghetti monster, but I created it. I'm thinking of it in my mind. It doesn't like what? It makes no sense. You can't deny a God that you don't know what it is. But here's the problem, is that when you do know God, you can't deny God. God is an experience. God is an intimate experience. Because you are God. Everyone is God. In fact, there is no way to know God. There is really only a way to be God, to recognize the fact that you are God. Stop. See, I already hear you getting offended. You're like, I am not God. God is some mystical thing in the sky. Stop thinking about it like that, okay? I'll tell you what God is. Now, words can't do it justice, obviously. But I think that the best way to describe what God is, the best way that I can think of to explain it to the average person in the material world, is that God is infinite imagination. God is infinite imagination. Think about what imagination means to you, okay? So imagine something right now. Imagine you frolicking through a meadow, seeing a cow, going petting the cow, okay? You're frolicking through the meadow, going and you're petting this cow. Now, pay attention to how you're imagining that, right? Now, you have this finite imagination. You can kind of, see the picture, see the cow. The picture isn't very clear. It kind of comes and goes. You can't focus it in perfectly. You can't keep it there, right? It's not as clear as your vision. It's somehow sort of in your visual field, maybe. Like, where do even thoughts appear? I don't know. So you're imagining this, right? Now imagine the cow bites you. Ah! You can kind of imagine the pain, but you can't really feel the pain. So you see, that's imagination. but it's a finite. This is the finite imagination of a human, right? Okay? Now, imagine the same concept of imagination, but infinite. Absolutely infinite. Think if you, the small self that you think you are, the ego, think if you somehow accessed an infinite imagination. Now this is the thing, because you don't know what infinity really means. But try your best. Infinite imagination. Imagine what you could imagine with infinite imagination. Well, that's what you're doing right now. Your imagination is just so powerful that you made yourself forget that you were imagining. That's how powerful the imagination is. The imagination wouldn't be so powerful if it didn't seem so real. So that's what you are. You're a giant mind. Connor, where's this mind? It doesn't have to be anywhere. You're caught in the materialist paradigm, which is inside the mind. You think that everything has to have like a base, you know? Oh, the mind must be in the brain. No. Just think of a mind. A mind with no base. It's just a mind appearing in nowhere. It's nothingness, but nothingness with infinite potential. That's what God is. It's where you get the Buddhist concept of nothingness. Because there's nothing there at its core, but yet it has infinite potential to manifest whatever its heart desires. Emptiness, consciousness, infinity, God, infinite intelligence, infinite imagination. That's what God is. We're all a part of it. We're all in it. We're all in this giant mind. There's only one of this giant mind. There only can be one. There can be nothing outside the giant mind, because then if there was something outside the giant mind, that would just be a bigger mind. You see? Like, there has to be an end. There has to be a base. You're wondering, oh, it's all material, you know, we know, like the Big Bang. Well, what is the construct in which the Big Bang is held? You see? Oh, empty space. Where is that empty space held? You see how eventually, even through this philosophical thinking, deep contemplation, you realize the end game, it has to just be a giant mind. Now, this is a great way to think about it, and this will help lead you to awakening, getting this concept in your mind. Now, you have to experience this on an experiential level, because you still don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So you do have to experience this. But there might come a point in time where it seems lonely. You're really getting this, and you're realizing, whoa, I'm the only entity in existence. There is only this giant mind in which I am. Well, that will fade, because everything is so unreal, because it simply is imagined by this giant mind of God. Yet, it's so real, because it has infinite power, so it can make it as real as it wants. As you progress in your spiritual awakening, reality will it'll get realer, and it'll get more unreal. God's a giant paradox. Get comfortable with paradoxes, because paradox is truth. Makes sense. I mean, it has to be. Universe, reality, it's a giant paradox. That's why it can't be understood conceptually. It's something you have to experience to really know, to really feel, to really grasp and experience what a giant paradox is. So yeah, that's what God is. And it's something that you can experience in this lifetime. You can truly know God. How do you do it? How do you know God? Well, many ways. In fact, some people don't have to do anything. All they have to do is be suffering intensely, right, throughout their normal life, like Eckhart Tolle, right? He was suicidal, and then all of a sudden, boom! you realize God. But for most of you, you have to do some deep spiritual work, meditation, contemplation. Certain plant substances that I will talk about on my Patreon, but don't want to get demonetized here because I want to reach this to as many people as possible. There are a lot of ways to find God. Many ancient spiritual practices. But the first step is just the intellectual understanding that there is one. And eventually, whether it be in this lifetime or the next, you will know God. That's why it's designed this way. It's perfection. You couldn't know how incredible it feels to be one, unity, togetherness. You wouldn't know what that feels like if at first you didn't feel separate. This is why we had to forget that we are God in order to really experience what God is. It's the nature of dualities in this world. Can't have up without down, right without wrong, good without bad. You can't have unity without separateness. It's an incredible design. You'll find everything in the universe is absolutely utter perfection. Utter perfection, you just have to see it. Every little mistake in reality, every little imperfection, they're not mistakes, they're not imperfections. It's a strategic, intelligent design to give you the most perfect experience in all of infinity. That's what you're experiencing right now. You just don't see it, but you will. Because things only get better. That's the nature of the universe. Like the stock market, ups and downs, but it's always on the uptrend. That's how it has to be. Do you see how that's the nature of our being? Is that we need to be progressing towards something? If something is static, if it's stagnant, it doesn't sit well with us. It's the nature of impermanence. That's why things are constantly changing. And you don't like that, right? Because you're this ego, and this ego, it's this artificial entity. It doesn't even really exist. It's this mental construct. But it survives by trying to remain constant. To not give in to the impermanent nature of reality. Once you get past that and embrace it, and I know it's hard to do now because you're suffering, but that will end. It will end. And you need the suffering because you wouldn't know what joy and peace was if you didn't first suffer. You wouldn't have any context to know what peace of mind is if you didn't first suffer. You see, every single thing that you are going through, everything, every ounce of suffering is for a reason. For your benefit. Not even for the benefit of the entire universe, that's true too, but literally for your benefit as an individual as well. You might not even realize it in this lifetime. Actually, well, just survive a little while longer, you will. Because the world is changing extremely fast. Extremely fast. Faster than you can ever imagine. You're about to see the great miracle of this universe. It's going to be epic. So stay positive. Do some meditation. Or whatever consciousness work. Consciousness fitness. It's kind of what it is. It's fitness for your brain. Well, for your mind. Depending how you look at it, from which paradigm. And yeah, many more videos to come. There's a lot to explain. I'll see you guys later. Peace.